the series.
Do you want to pack for San Francisco, or do you want to pack for Cancun?
Sustained Mavericks run right here.
Players we're not used to calling their names so far in this series stepping up.
They don't want to go home yet. Doncic drains another triple. Dallas Mavericks season not done yet. There will be a Game 5 in San Francisco.
Whew, the Mavericks, they shot 47% from three last night, making 20 of their 43 attempts. It's a make-or-miss league, after all. Golden State, they only shot 3 uncontested threes all night. The Mavs, 25 uncontested threes. So the Mavs, they're attempting over 41 threes per game this postseason. That leads the NBA, and in recent years, teams like the Rockets, the Jazz, they've shot even more than that. Do you actually enjoy, Richard, watching this brand of basketball?
Yeah, because it's not just three-point shots. I know we focus on that, but it's like how you get to them, the players that are creating them. They're still good shots. And, like, you can't fall in love with the Warriors because they are different. So every other team has to play a little bit different than the way the Warriors do.
Yeah, if you don't like this brand of basketball, you're going to have a problem for the next 10 or 15 years in the NBA because this is all there is. And to Richard's point, I think there's this idea that because everybody shoots tons of threes, every team looks the same. And that has never been true and is not even close to true. The Warriors play much different than the James Harden Rockets, and the Mavericks play much differently than both of those teams. They might all end up shooting a lot of threes, but the pathway there, the techniques there are different. I think the league is in a great place. I understand why some old school guys don't want 40, 50 threes every game. The math is the math is. If you don't want that, you're going to have to change the rules somehow because the math has been discovered and it's not changing.
Yeah, but we haven't got great basketball, especially.
We have not.
Especially in these finals, and it's due because of the lack of three-point shooting. Like, if you go and look.
Like the lack of three-point?
I mean, like, teams not being efficient. So the teams are getting blown out all because guys are passing up wide-open layups to kick out for threes because that's what they're told to do. Space, go 5 wide, drive and kick, and look for the open three. And you know what else? It's ruining the upcoming generation of hoopers that's coming in. Look, I spend 10 to 12 hours a day on Saturdays and Sundays at an AAU gym watching my sons play basketball. And all I'm watching is a whole lot of children, a whole lot of kids develop bad habits and have bad tendencies because this is what the NBA, this is the example that they're seeing.
Well, but are the kids trying to be Steph Curry, or are they just catching the ball and shooting open threes? Those are two different things,
No,
right?
I'm literally watching kids have open lanes, driving to the basket for layups and driving all the way out to the corner to pull up for a three-point shot because of what they see on television.
But some of that is coaching, and I know we talk about that even on a lower level. Like, I understand that the game has evolved and had to change, but like our point, if you drive into the paint and then kick out, that's a much better three. So I think, I understand it can be frustrating, but ultimately, if you teach the kids the right ways, those are going to be the ones that have the advantage.
Have you enjoyed watching that Western Conference Finals?
Well, I haven't enjoyed watching either of the finals.
Okay.
They've both been trash.
Okay, my point exactly.
I'm a grumpy person.
Yeah,
that's it.
But the myth of all this is the analytics is like this villain that has changed the game. It's all threes. But what analytics has done is every team that shoots a lot of threes still thinks and knows the most valuable shot in the game is a layup or a dunk. What's really happened is that pull-up mid-range jumpers by non-star players. Stars still take a lot of those shots, have turned into threes. Are we really like that angry about that? Because that's what's happened.
No,
Yeah.
and I think, but that's
Yes,
but that's your point. Star players still do it.
Yeah.
Right. Star players still do it, and I just think when you're teaching young players, you should teach them the entire game, not the little triggers of three or dunk or layup. You got to teach them the whole game.
Well, speaking of stars, the star of the game was no doubt Luka Doncic, right? 30 points, 14 rebounds, 9 to save the Mavs season. I mean, my goodness.
He's that dude. He don't
is.
care. He don't care. Look at this. Just the dunks, the easy. We didn't even see a ton of dunks from him early.
Let's dive into the numbers. Luka in elimination games, starting with 30. Luka's now scored 30, at least 30, in 5 career games when facing elimination, the second longest streak to begin. So moving on to 17, it was Luka's 17th career 30-point game in the playoffs, tied with Kobe and KD for the second most in the NBA history by a player before turning 24, only behind LeBron James. And last, but certainly not least, 36.4. That's Luka's career scoring average when facing elimination, by far the highest in NBA history among players with at least 3 such games.
no joke. Look at Luka, take it right down the lane. It's in a long three, Luka!
What he does for this team is incredible. He's our leader. When he goes, we go, and he loves that stage.
I ain't no joke.
I just want to win the game, and that's it. We got more to do, This is nothing. We got 3 more, and, we have to go game by game. We're going to believe till the end.
I ain't no joke.
Good track. All right, Luka's taking this game to another level. The Mavs, they'll be facing elimination again on Thursday. Perk, what attribute makes him so good in these situations?
Well, I think me and Richard agree on something finally. He don't give a damn. Look, you could drop Luka anywhere in America, and he's going to be Luka Doncic, right? You have guys that only be themselves, even superstars, show that type of emotion, that type of aggressiveness, being mean, talking noise at home. Luka is going to do that on the road, at home, in your nearest hood, whether it's out the country, in the country, it don't matter. And when you have a superstar guy that has that type of tenacity and has that type of talent, look, this is what makes him so great.
Well, it is, and we joke. Look, if you're from the West Coast, right? You play West Coast. You play a little run and gun basketball. When you go in New York, it's dribble, dribble, dribble. That's the way they play in New York. Southside Chicago's a different way. It doesn't matter.
What about in Texas?
I don't know what them Texas. Y'all just growing big out in Texas. But I'm saying, though, you can put him anywhere, and his game just translates because his IQ, his size, his handle, he has so many special things. But more importantly, the part that we were laughing about, he don't care. He don't care about you. He don't care about him. He don't care about nothing but hooping and trying to help his team win. And you just see the energy. He's that good and that special.
Well, this is who he is. Whether it's closeout games or game one, he's scoring 30 points in every single playoff game, no matter how you slice the averages. And I think what you guys are saying is the moment is never too big for him. He does not care about the pressure. He's not scared of anybody. You will never see him afraid to get fouled. You'll never see him pass up a layup at the rim because he's afraid to get fouled. You'll never see any of that in big moments. He can get to any shot he wants at any time. He can throw any pass he wants at any time. He's big, he's strong, he's tough. And by the way, we write off these series when they're 3-0, and maybe the Warriors wrote off last night a little bit. We're one Dallas road win away. We saw it with Philly and Toronto from this becoming super interesting. Like the Warriors don't want to mess around and end up in Dallas for game 6.
What you saying, Zach?
What I'm saying is don't mess around in Game 5. You better close it out in Game 5.
Are you taking Dallas in Game 5?
No, I'm taking the Warriors in Game 5. I'm saying we've seen how rare it is just to go from 3-0 to 3-2. And imagine now there's only 2 series going on. Imagine the media pressure, everything. If that gets to 3-2, that's interesting.
Nah, they need to focus. You don't want to mess around with going back to Dallas. You don't want to mess around.
Think about what we just said about Luka. You don't want to mess with that guy. Give him extra lives.
And by the way, Perk and I were talking about this off camera earlier. The way that Luka Doncic is talking in his post-game conferences, that swagger, it reminds me a little bit of a Giannis. What he's saying is, it doesn't matter, win or lose, we're going to get it done. And then he goes out and it just leaves it all out there. And it's scary. You don't want to mess with that. There's something we got to mess with, though, before we move on from last night's game. There's just one more moment that you need to see.
What?
Green drives on Cleveland. And that is a foul. Draymond Green did not go to the line in Game 3.
Look at this. Look at this. So unique. Wow. You could shoot that
1,000 times.
More than 1,000, and that would never happen. More than 1,000.
Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I love the Curb Your Enthusiasm music behind it, and I don't even know how that's possible. Like, how did that happen?
I don't know. I was at Komodo last night.
Well, you're just
I was at Komodo.
Too cool for me.
No, but I was watching it on my phone. Shout out Naila. Happy birthday, my manager. Love you. But, like, I don't think I've seen this very many times ever.
It just, what do you even call it? If a wedgie is working, what is this?
Let me say this. Of all the players to have it happen to them, Draymond is the player to have them.
Is it a ledgie? If